if you have that mindset that you want your franchise to win more than you even want yourself to win, it's almost like your children. Like
Yeah.
you want your children to win more than you. But
Yeah.
when they win, you win big.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Franchise. As always, I'm your host, Paul Ehlinger, and this morning I'm excited. We're joined by Charles Bonfiglio from Tint World. Charles, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Paul, great to be here with you today.
Yeah, appreciate it. And for those who may not know who you are, give us, the quick who the heck you are and where you've been and how you got here.
Who the heck I am is a guy that grew up in Brooklyn with my family, have a good family. At about 21 years old, I decided to come down to Florida to open up an aftermarket accessory business and found franchising. I joined the big franchise company, opened up a bunch of franchises with them, started buying real estate with the businesses, and evolved into whereby in 2007, I bought a small chain called Tint World that started with a first store in 1982. Had about 6 stores when I bought them, and I converted that to a franchise, which we now call Tint World, Automotive Styling Centers, and we do window tinting, paint protection film, vehicle wraps, car audio, aftermarket accessories, and we also do mobile services for homes and commercial flat glass window film, as well as marine services. So there it is.
Got it all. I love it. I love it. And maybe walk me through it. So starting with Tint World, you come in, you buy a 6-location regional. Yeah. What did it take to turn it into that scalable franchise system that you are today?
Well, my prior experience with a large franchise company called Meineke Discount Muffler, when I started in 1983 or 4, my first store, I evolved with them, and I really got involved with the franchise company. I really liked working with them, so I joined the Franchise Advisory Council. Eventually, in the early 90s, they came out with a point of sale that they want somebody to help with. I jumped in on that, and I started to be their IT guy in, helping them in the chairman of a computer committee they set up. And that really got me engaged with working with corporate and what they wanted with reporting and measuring and helping other store owners understand and on board. So I really got a lot of franchise experience through helping others, including the franchisor. And we evolved the company from Meineke Discount Mufflers to Meineke Car Care Centers in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was basically part of my area where I was a test center in the early 90s, testing out different services. So when exhaust started to phase out, these other services were more relevant to help grow the chain.
Yeah.
And then Meineke came down to my offices in Florida and asked me, how do I do this and that? Florida, there wasn't much exhaust work, so I was ahead of the forefront on these other services, where the stores that were predominantly in the Northeast, they were doing well with exhaust, but when it started to slow down in exhaust, that's when we started working together. But fast forward, I realized that in a franchise business, it would be good to have multiple categories of services. So whether it be the seasonal changes or the areas of the United States that are different, it'll allow you to do different services that are more relevant in certain areas. So when my last Meineke Car Care Center that I built was in 2001. It was the biggest one in the chain. The first one ever did over $2 million in sales in a year, and it did it continually. But then my wife and we started having children. We had 2 children, and I took a break. Thanks. I took a break for a while of not wanting to open up more stores. I wanted to, I had a bunch of them, so we just managed those while the kids were just in the early stages, 1, 2, and 3. By the time we got to 2006, I was ready to do more. I told my wife, I'm ready to open up more businesses, but I'm not going to do any more of these Meineke franchises. She goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to open up the business I always dreamed of. I want to open up a car aftermarket accessory business. And there's no franchise out there like that. So if I want this, there's got to be other people that want it. Yeah. So I actually said, to speed this thing up, I've been going for years. I've been bringing my car to Tint World, which was a window tinting company that did some detailing and some other things. So my idea was to buy the company, which I called up the owner, went to lunch, a couple of months, bought the company, and successfully completed that. Took about a year to write the franchise system. And in 2007, we launched franchising. My goal was to expand the service categories and actually grow the brand and really optimize the business system with a good point of sale system, good marketing system, good technology team, and really grow the brand. And that's how it started in 2007, franchising. And we just kind of kept evolving from there. It wasn't about selling a lot of franchises at the beginning. It was really, opening up a few. We just attracted people. It was a fun, cool looking business. And then as we started to get to about 2019, We had about 70 stores, more or less. I would about 30 in the pipeline. And I felt like this system, I really focused on the operational system.
Yeah.
It's going as strong as it could. It's time now to scale. I want to grow a lot faster. And then so I started putting that together, and my plan was 2020 to really go fast.
Maybe a little hiccup there in
And then I got
2020.
slapped in the face with COVID. So did everybody, but I was lucky. Our brand is Automotive. We got deemed an essential business.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Where we were able to stay open and grow. During COVID, our same store sales grew about 30%.
Oh, wow.
People were spending a lot of money with us, and they had free money. They were spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of the other brands weren't doing as well, and so we sold a lot of franchises in 2020. Believe it or not. And then 2021, we sold more than we ever even dreamed of.
Yeah.
Which was 68 franchises in 2021, and it was pretty much 50, 60 more or less ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And now that's how we got to where we are now, really.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm curious, so you're sitting there in 2019, 70 stores. What was the thing for you? Like, what said, hey, it's time to put push the gas to the floor here on it? Was it just your comfort and what you had built already in the system? Was it like, you strike me as a guy who always wants to push a little more? Like, was it a combination of that? What kind of led to the decision to grow, and kind of lean into it as much as you did in 19?
From 2007, when I took it to franchising, till about 2018, 19, I really was focused on building the best brand I knew how. So sure. The operation system, the displays in the offices, the branding of the buildings and what they look like, the marketing system to make sure that it was really dialed in where we can get leads and customers for customers. Everything about the system, I focused on the operational and even building out my team in my corporate headquarters, the operational team, the technology team, the marketing team, the accounting team, the sales dev team. I'm just building them out. And really, that was really the most important thing, even more than selling franchises. Because if I sold a few a year, I was happy. It didn't matter. I can get stores open and tweak them. But by the time I got to 2019, I'm like, I just went to my wife and I said, Jeanette, I don't even know what else to do. This system is like,
it's working.
It's all there. I mean, it's predictable. They're opening up. They're successful. Like, I think I really now want to really shift my energy and my knowledge towards learning more about franchise dev. Because I just had a little bit of marketing going. It was going to my franchise sales guy, and he was selling them as they will. But like, I really never put, my effort.
It wasn't like a core emphasis of yours.
Right. So, so what I did was in 2019, I started to go to, CEO growth summits, talk to other, CEOs and CDOs, and then I went to the International Franchise Association. I think it was in February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Just before,
right before. And I went up there, I met everybody. I met broker networks. I hired 2 more people, an onboarding person and another inside fran dev, first call, deal. And so I was prepared to really roll. And then around, March, we heard this pandemic thing coming.
A little something on the news, something,
And but I had a pretty strong mind. Whatever it was going to be, I'm like, okay, well, other brands are having a hard time. We're still doing really well. We're growing. So it was really getting the hearts and mind of my employees right. And then once I got that, where we all were comfortable.
Yeah, once everybody was in line, you can get running.
Right. Then it was now let's go focus on franchisees and find out, top 20% of who's really happy and positive. And then who's like concerning, different states and different areas, even Canada. We had stores, they were like more like, closed down than most. Yeah. But even then, we were able to keep open. So we won the hearts and minds over our staff, and then the franchisees, I would say it took 2 or 3 months, and then we started to just grow. I sold more second and third licenses to existing franchisees than I ever had before during the second half of 2020. So they had my confidence. I had their confidence. And I think that was really a changing point for us in a positive way. It wasn't a good time for everyone, but it was something that we bonded together, got really strong.
Yeah, it sounds like it built the culture a lot, right? Like it's like it kind of was an aligning moment of like, hey, a lot of shit going on. We're going to keep growing. And you got everybody to buy into that.
How you act in a bad situation is really the deepness of your character, of how you're going to act in a good situation. So I think that really built a lot of trust between us.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm curious. Like, I think listening to how you've gone about building this, it strikes me that it's very intentional, right? And I think there's a lot of modern emerging franchises out there that are trying to put the gas on the pedal right away. They want to hit and sell unit, and they may or may not have a system together. I'm curious. For you, have you noticed any of those changes in the industry where people are trying to grow a little faster, maybe, and for the first 2-3 years they want to try to hit 100 units, compared to the way you. Again, it just sounds really intentional throughout the whole time.
I guess you're right. I didn't really think of it as how do I grow fast? How do I grow 2,000 stores? It wasn't about that. It was like, how do I grow the best franchise system?
Yeah,
and I had a really good brand to compare it with. I mean, Meineke did a lot of really good things.
Yeah, they've been good for a long time, right? Nobody would argue that.
I started with them. They had 300 locations. By the time I was done with them, they had 900.
Yeah, they did something right. Yeah.
So they were doing good, and I was part of that growth.
Yeah.
I grew 10 stores during that growth.
Yeah.
I learned with them. I was part of their advisory council. So I learned a lot, and I learned a lot of what I really liked about their system.
And what you didn't like, presumably.
Because as a franchisee, that's one of the top franchisees, it's like, but they should do this, and they should do that, and they should do this. So all those they should do's, or maybe should try to do, I put that in my repertoire of what I wanted to do. Yeah. And when I started Tint World Franchise, I put all the things in place that I knew that really worked well with their system. And then I supplemented all the things that I really wanted to work well that I thought would. So I put my money where my mouth is. For better or for worse, I optimized all the things that I thought would work. And you know what? I was right.
There you go. Yeah.
Almost everything anyway.
I was just gonna ask that. I was like, what were there things you were confident in when you made the shift into your own brand that maybe you dropped the ball on?
I can't say there was anything that went really bad. But
as we sit here today,
you try a lot of different things, and not everything is working as well. This would have been good. Now, again, it's supplemental, so even if it didn't 100% go the way I thought it would, it was another layer of trying and testing and tuning. Yeah. But I was always trying. That was really what my passion was: is building a better system.
And you're obsessed with the quality, right? Like at the end of the day, if the quality of the system is good, the scale will come with it.
And once I got exhausted with trying to evolve the system, it was like, okay, what else can I do? Franchise dev. I could sell more units. Let me get really good at that. And that's when we went to that. And
it leads me to a question I love asking CEOs as they scale businesses. I think to be a CEO, it's a very different job when you're at 10 units versus 300 units versus XYZ units. How have you felt like you've evolved over the past 10, 15 years as you're building this business? Because you've got to be a different person than you were at the beginning, else you'd probably be the wrong person for the job today.
It is true. I look back every couple of years and I look back, what was I thinking? I'm so much smarter today than I was just 3 years ago. And it's true. We do evolve. I'm a creature of learning. I love to learn and get better at things. But I could tell you there are stages of growth of a franchise. Mm-hmm. The first, 1 or 2 dozen stores. I mean, you're really finding your way. How do I open these things, and how do I, make sure that I'm getting the right franchisees in? Yeah. And then by the time you get to about 50, that's where you got to a point where your franchise
something's happening.
It's growing. Yeah. You put the system together. It's growing. It's starting to happen. You're getting all calls from private equity saying, hey, we like you, sure. Or M&A companies or whatever. And I didn't know much about that. Yeah. And then by the time I got to about 100, it was like full on, like a whole nother level. Because, when you're a founder and you're only, 40, 50, 80 stores, you kind of know everybody's name, everybody in the franchise, and everybody's issue and how you can help them, and you deal directly. And I love doing that. But when it got over 100, I started to lose some of that direct contact, not because I didn't want to, but because it's just more than I could handle by myself. And I started having layers of management come in. Yeah. And those layers of management could be really good because they could be even really better than me at a certain job.
Sure, they've got a niche skill, yeah.
But then you get some that aren't so good, and now you're actually going backwards a little bit on the relationships you have because they're not passing off that same message. Yep. So it took me a little time to learn that aspect. That was the toughest time, I think. Between 100 and 130 stores was a real tough time for me to figure out how do I get the right people in place that could be the buffer between me, but also keep that same culture and dynamic that I felt I had with my franchisees. Yeah. And it took me from about 120, 130ish was the toughest time.
Mm-hmm.
I think once I got to 150, I started to get it right.
Yeah.
I hired the right people. I got myself a really good wingman, Jonathan Norman, who was my president.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out of nowhere in 2003, beginning 2003, started with me. And oh my God, the first guy I actually hired in the company that actually understands, knows franchising. Everybody else had a good skill, and I liked them, and I trusted them, and I put them in a place, trained them on franchising. But Jonathan came in, and God bless him, it was what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
And it really helped me because he just was level with my thoughts and the way I operate franchise. He was a franchisee first too.
Awesome.
Now coming in, working me as a franchisor, it was really cool. And then it started to smooth out by hiring the right people and holding some of our, operation team accountable for what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's how it really evolved. And who knows, I'm getting closer to 200, so that's probably going to be another little bit of
sure,
but I'm ready for it.
And I love that you specifically call out like learning how to hire is a thing, because it's you think you know what you want, you think you got the right person, and you see them try to do the thing, and it's very different. How's your hiring changed over the years? Like, how do you vet people differently to ensure that they are going to buy into the culture, and not only buy into it, but be an owner of it, right? And kind of push it down to everybody else as well.
I up until about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I used to tell people right out, I suck at hiring. I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't mean any disrespect to my employees. I just really didn't. They would come into me, and instead of me interviewing them, I would actually act like they were interviewing me. I would like, listen, here's what my company is. Here's what I want to do. Here's what my goals are. You have a skill in either marketing or technology.
Whatever that
I want you to fill this gap. Do you think you can do it? Is it something that you want to do? Here's the Tint World. I need you to fit in the world and really own this part of it. Can you do that? Yeah. And if I like them, if I trust them, and they had the ability to do it, and they wanted it, you're hired. I would always wait for them to actually email me once after the interview, have a second interview, and if they called me after the second interview, then I knew they wanted it, and that's people have to want something. Otherwise, if you're just putting something out there and they don't really want it, it's just a job. Yeah. But it was a passion for me to have them want it, and I really was very fortunate to be able to collect really good people into our team and grow it. But what was unique for me is that there was one time one of my employees, she basically said, I want to call in this person that actually talks to the whole group as the company headquarters. We had about 25 employees. We went an outing into a hotel on the beach in Delray Beach. And we got this big dais table, and she sat at the front, and it was all my team around it. And I never forget, she started off with, I'm going to first start off with asking each one of you how you found out about Tint World, who you talked to when you hired them, and what made you decide to take the job. And it was like, I was blown away from one after the other. It's like, well, I came in and I answered an interview and I spoke to Charles and I saw his passion for the company and I just felt I wanted to be part of it. And I just loved his dream of what he was trying to create. And so I joined on. The next one, same thing. Next one, right around the table. I saw Charles' passion. I wanted to be part of it. I was like, I guess I'm not that bad of a hirer. The first time I ever thought I wasn't, I was like, I thought I sucked. She goes, no, you attracted the right people with your vision. Yeah. Like, wow, I didn't even know that, but I'm really grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I totally agree. I think it's like the best hires are the people who give a shit, who know it's going to be hard and good, and they just want that journey, And if you can find the people that are willing to go down it with you, it's pretty cool. It's a fun time.
It's great.
Yeah. Maybe transitioning a little bit. So you've got Tint World, but you've also got Cars Cafe. Another concept under there. I'm curious, what it's like growing into multi-brand portfolio model. How's all that going for you?
I've always had multiple companies, whether it be multiple franchises or building real estate so as I built e-commerce companies along the way, drop shipping, auto parts and accessories. So I did a lot of things, but I know that there's always the main company that you have to focus. The one that's growing the most, that needs the most of you, that's what you do. The other companies that you start incubating are the ones that are like your project. Yeah. I wouldn't say your hobby, but they're really not a business until they make money. So they're
sure.
a project or somewhat of a hobby till you get it going. And so a couple of years ago, I started toying with the idea of Cars Cafe. There's a lot of these cars and coffee events all over. I love fun franchise brands. Tint World it's a sexy brand, it's a fun brand, it's a profitable brand, and a unique brand. So now maybe coffee shops are not so unique, but when you add the flavor of cars and coffee to a brand, I think it's pretty unique.
Well, you're tapping into a cult, like a specific culture, right? Like there's something actually unique about the target audience.
These are our cars and coffee that we started growing, and I have a partner in Miami that has coffee beaneries in South America, and
so you guys are sourcing your own beans and everything. That's awesome.
They grow beans, they bring them in, they distribute. So they came part of it to help our distribution. Jonathan introduced me to that partner, and Jonathan was also in a fast and casual prior to coming to Tint World, so he knew more about this than I did. So by having a couple of people around me that know about the food business, where I'm an auto guy, is helpful. But we're getting close to being able to launch this program. This is another one. We think it's going to go really fast. It's a lot easier to build, coffee shops than a car shop. And it's a simpler, process, and a lot of the new things that we have, speed to cup, what we want to do is all wrapped around car culture. But at the same time, like whether it's a mother, a father, a son, or a daughter, I mean, everybody's got a car. They all love them to whatever degree. So going in and having a car culture coffee shop, I think that would be really cool. So that's what we're building right now. We have our carscafe.com where we sell e-commerce now while we're building out our franchise system.
That's awesome. I'm curious, similarities, differences you've been feeling with this versus, Tint World or your other experiences, Meineke or something. Like, obviously a very different business model on the coffee side, different margin system. What's it been like for you building this brand in comparison?
It's been fun because I just really like building brands. I like the design.
0 to 1 is so fun, right? Like it's just everything goes wrong, but everything is fun to solve.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it just doesn't, I don't really chase the money. The money is a scorecard. If I'm doing well, I really chase the dream of how do I make this a great brand? What am I going to do? Eventually, it starts to come where the money is adding up, and that's the scorecard. Hey, I'm doing really well. Let's focus on doing more of this, and but it's just the creativity of building a brand is really fun for me. Whether it's the design, the technology, the systems, the integration, the simplicity of the use. So I really like doing that. I did that a lot with Tint World. I have a lot more to do. We want to grow to 1,000 stores. That's just in the U.S. And then we have international deals. We have already 3 other international countries, and we have another one on the way. I think we're working on Brazil right now. So we are, and we get accepted really well in any country we go to. So, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, of course, Canada. So the brand is really well, and it gets accepted well, and it is unique. There's a couple of copycats that try to copy us, but for the most part, we really established this brand, and we're going to grow as fast as ever now.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm curious, you are absolutely touched into car culture. Does car culture shift between countries? Like, is it slightly different or varied or nuanced between, car culture in the U.S. versus Brazil versus Saudi Arabia?
It does shift a little bit, but they still love cars. I mean, let me give you a little nuance. So when I went to Dubai and helped open up our first store there, I found out a lot of new things. Like one of them is that, do you know the lower the license plate number is, the higher the cost is?
The higher
the King has number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and each one of those millions of dollars per plate. The higher number you get, if you get 4,000 something, that plate may be $2,000. But the higher number, the lower the cost. I never knew it. But that's a car culture thing. So I would want to focus around something on that to tie it into Tint World in a way. I always want to tie in what's really good. But I tell you, the people over there love cars just the way they love them here. Maybe, in a different mannerism. There's different types of cars right over there. Now they're big on all these, 4-wheelers that go into the dunes,
the desert,
really cool. But they all love cars. People that love cars, they love them. And even if people are, they have a car, it's a regular everyday car, they still want to protect them and take care of them. So they're still our customer.
Yeah. I'm curious, are you looking at Asia at all? Because I feel like Asia always loves American muscle car culture. They've got a very big culture buy into it. Harley Davidson even. What does the international expansion look like for you guys?
I've been wanting to do Asia for a really long time,
Yeah,
but it's really difficult. The bigger the deal, the harder the
sure.
execution.
Yeah,
And in Asia, I've had big manufacturers come to me. They want to trade. I'll sell you this over there, and then I'll develop your stores. I'm like, listen, this is not a trade-off.
sure.
If you want, we'll build it, and if you have a good product, we'll buy it.
Yeah,
But it was really more like that. But more and more, I'm getting people from Asia because I tell you, people from all other parts of the world, other countries, they
yeah,
love American franchise brands.
yeah, yeah.
And when they see that they know Tint World, they see Tint World, it's like, how big do I have to be for you to finally say, just let me own it?
Sure, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so as we grow, it gets more and more desire for them to want it. But I actually have somebody, again, I have two different prospects in Asia calling on me. And I
Awesome.
really haven't been heavily marketing to them. When you have 150 plus stores, you don't have the bandwidth to attend to them the way you want to.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to grow partnerships in the space. Some of the vendors and suppliers even have distribution out that way, and they love our brand and think it will be good. So I feel within the next year to 2 years, we will have more franchise brands in international other countries.
I love that. And I would presume you're going to launch, obviously, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows how many more companies in your lifetime here? Does it get easier, or do you have new challenges as you go every time you launch something new?
There's always challenges, but it is more where, once you achieve something, you start to believe it and you start to know the systems.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what widget it is. It's a matter of how much you believe and you want to build that widget in that marketplace.
Yeah.
You get more confident and knowledgeable. And of course, resources come to you because you've already been successful.
Yeah.
I have people call me all the time offering me other opportunities, and I've got to be selective of saying no to most of them and only accept in the ones that are really going to help us move the needle. Now, I don't know if you know, but recently we've taken on an investment partner.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something I ever planned on. But I met this team at Boxwood Partners. They basically they're an M&A company, and I never really had the care for taking in any money. I owed no money to anybody. I built everything organically myself. I was lucky enough to build franchises, build real estate, and have income coming in, so I could just build these things. But about a year ago, I was approached by Boxwood Partners in a good way, where I got friendly with Patrick, the owner. And he said, no, you could really do well with this. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really want to partner. They're going to tell me what to do. And after doing some research, I started work with them. It's okay. Let's prepare this thing. I got it to where it was ready. I figured the worst that happens is I have a really good dialed in financial plan.
Sure. Yeah.
The best that can happen is that I actually execute some kind of deal that I like.
Yeah.
And I learned along the way. So in about this past July 2025, we got an offer in from one of the 140 plus private equity firms that wanted to come and invest in our brand.
Awesome.
And we narrowed it down to 5, and then it was dinner and board meetings every day for a few weeks.
Yep.
And then by about 4th of July 2025, we got an offer in from Susquehanna, went back and forth a little bit and dialed it in, and then it was like 3 months worth of really big due diligence.
Super deep diligence, yeah.
That was fun too. I mean, it was like as a learning curve. I'm very organized in my documents, so by sending things and writing commentary,
it exposes any little hole. Diligence is fantastic because it's like that external third party.
Yeah, it's like somebody checking on you. Like,
100%.
How dare you? But I'm like, no, let me get this right. But it actually, I really appreciated that because I all the work that you do behind the scenes that nobody ever looks at, finally they're looking at and they're saying, hey, man,
and you're like, no, there's an impressive system back here. We know what we're doing, man.
So you finally get appreciation for what you built. And then we closed at the end of October, I believe, or was it September, October?
Sure.
And from that point, it's just been a little bit transition, but they're really good partners. They have a value creation team of about 8 or 9 people. We have weekly meetings with them virtually. They love our team. I still have a vested, a partnership into this company. We're going to run it for the next 5 years to get it to $500 million. We want to get to 500 units. From that point, we'll decide if we want to go more. But we have to go in stages, and we agreed on that, and so I think we have a great partnership. And there's going to be a lot of other opportunities for us to grow with all the resources they're giving me. It's not the monetary resources, although that helps, but it's really more of the it's the learning. I mean, I'm learning things from a $70 billion company. That what they do and how they do it.
It's just different.
It really is different, and so I love to learn. Like I said, I'm a creature of learning. So by doing this is one of the best part of it. Is it was nice to get the financial influx of money.
Sometimes it doesn't hurt, it greased the wheels a little bit.
It was life-changing for me and my family, and it was really good, especially the fact that I have, still a lot of equity, and I'm ready to do it again. But now I've learned that system, and it's just evolving. I wish I knew this 40 years ago. If I knew private equity 40 years ago, I'd be doing this all the time. But so now I have my daughter working with us. She works in social media. She's 27.
That's
my son just graduated college last year. And he's in the private equity space in New York City. I'm begging him to come work for me.
You gotta come back, baby. Let's go.
Come back to the family. I can show you more in 6 months than they can show you in 6 years. But so it's all good. I'm really loving life, and my wife and I are having a good time with it.
I mean, that's all that matters. If you can, I feel like the money comes if you do the right things, and it's the journey along the way and doing it with people you like to do it with that matters.
And it's the franchisees. I mean. Being in touch with the franchisees and seeing them grow their families. I have one guy that started with me when I think he was about 24 years old with one store about 12, 14 years ago. Now he's got like 8 stores and he's buying a 9th one. And they're not even in the same state. Like he's got 3 in Florida, 2 in Tennessee.
You got empires underneath you now. People are growing empires.
Them grow. Like I love to see my franchisees grow. I got a guy in North Carolina. They had 2. They came into Discovery Day. It was like the Brady Bunch. It was like the father, the mother, the 2 sons, the daughter, the girlfriend of the son. I'm like, whoa, this is great. They wound up, owning 2 stores that are $1.5 million stores. And now they just bought resales, 3 other stores. They're closing on them on Monday. So I'm so proud. They just built it to 5. I love that. I mean, and they're really worthy of it. Like, when people really want to work hard and they get their family involved or whatever it is, they get their team involved. I love watching them grow. And we have a lot of franchises. I mean, I can write a book on all the lives of our franchisees. It's not always pretty. There's always some personal issues that maybe pop up. But all we're here is to guide them and help them in the areas that we can. And it evolves. And so I've been a franchisee first my whole life. I've helped other franchisees grow. So I'm doing the same with our franchisees, and it's very rewarding.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And maybe wrapping it with a final question. I feel like I've got to ask. Like, I think you've just got such an interesting journey because it's so clear that you have just gone on this learning journey, and every stage you've learned more. It's helped you grow the businesses more. What advice would you give somebody to starting out today with their first brand that you and your decades of experience, you're like, man, wish I would have avoided this. 25
as a franchisee or as a franchisor?
Franchisor, please.
If you're a franchisor, you got to get into this knowing that you're probably not going to make any profit or any earn money until after 50 units. So you better go in either with the right backing or the right financial wherewithal of yourself. It's really about you building your franchisees first. If you build them, and it could take you 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long it takes you to get over that 50. And I say 50, that's an average number. It could be 70, it could be 30.
Depending on the bit margins of the business.
You're getting a percentage of those sales. So if you have an average unit growth of $1 million, it might be 40 or 30 because 6% of that is more. But if you have a $500,000, $600,000 average unit store, you're going to probably be up at 60 or 70s. And before you're actually, because you got to scale your people first. Every 20 stores, you're hiring one new employee till you get to over 50, over 100. Once you get to over 100, it might be one every 50. Because whether it's marketing,
the systems are scaling a little better.
So you have to really, it slows down because you don't need this. It's percentage wise, 25 employees will grow you to 200 stores, but you over the course of the first 100 stores, you got to get the majority of the 25 people, and that's the money that's going to cost you up front. But then it starts to scale in a good way because you get all the positions filled. And you have the system built out, so you really manage it. You can a lot of stuff you can measure by technology. So I would say that number one, you got to play the long game. If you're going to build a franchise, play the long game. Otherwise, if you're not wanting to do that, build 1 or 2 of your own personal businesses on your own, and you can do well. But if you want to build this, it's the long game, and it's really building locations. So whether you're building with somebody who has a lot of financial wealth, or if you do, you just got to build that. And a lot of times people think about, I've opened up 3 of these businesses, I want to franchise it, but those 3 businesses you're looking to make money off of right from day one of each one you open. It's not that way with franchise. It's a longer game. If you have that mindset that you want your franchise to win more than you even want yourself to win, it's almost like your children. Like you want your children to win more than you. But when they win, you win big. That's what it's about.
Yeah, your franchisees are the leading indicator. Your success is the lagging indicator, I suppose.
Yes.
Well, Charles, this was fantastic. At the end, I always like to give the guest an opportunity. Sell your thing. Where can people find you online? Where can they learn more about Tint World, Cars Cafe? Anything you want to put out there, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, if they want to find me online, I'm very easy. I'm very popular on LinkedIn. I have a lot of friends and connections there, and I always post a lot of cool stuff about my franchisees mostly, but about our headquarters team. And I'm always open to connect. If you want to know more about Tint World as a consumer, tintworld.com. You can see the array of services and products that we offer for your car, your home, your boat, your business. If you want more knowledge about Tint World franchising, you can click the franchise opportunity link on that site or go to tintworldfranchise.com. And you can learn about our franchise opportunity. And if you want to know more about Cars Cafe, you can go to carscafe.com, which is basically right now an e-commerce site, but we will have a sign up there for people that are interested in the franchising once we launch coming up in next year.
That's awesome. Charles, well, thank you so much for your time this morning. This was fantastic. Like, just honestly, just the narrative of the story is interesting in the first place, but then pulling out all the learnings from you has been an awesome time. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you, Paul. It's been a pleasure to share my story with everyone.
Absolutely. And for everybody else, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And this has been another episode of Behind the Franchise. We'll talk to you on the next one.